Marcus Aurelius once said that the most important thing is not whether a relationship continues, but whether it serves as a source of personal growth. In our lives, we find ourselves deeply entwined with relationships that shape our identity. Some relationships act as guiding lights, leading us toward wisdom and peace, while others become chains that weigh down our spirits. Today, we're going to discuss a difficult but necessary chapter in many people's lives, the moment when a relationship must come to an end, even if it involves those closest to us. Stoicism teaches us that life's true foundation lies in inner harmony. If we remain in a relationship that disrupts this balance, continuing becomes a betrayal of our very essence. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus reminds us that while we cannot control others' actions, we can control how we respond. So, how do we navigate relationships that drain us? If you're ready to change your perspective and learn how to handle toxic people in your life, you're in the right place. The insights shared today could forever change the way you view and manage your relationships. Before we begin, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes. And if you find this video helpful, hit the like button. I'd also love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments. Share with us how relationships have impacted you, or if you've gone through something similar. Your input could benefit everyone. Let's dive in. Disrespect, my friend, is one of the most dangerous poisons that can slowly destroy any relationship, whether it's a friend, a partner, or even a family member. It may seem simple, but the truth is profound. Respect is not merely about kind words or temporary gestures. It is the very essence of the relationship. It's the core that holds everything together. Without respect, the relationship is like a tree without roots. It may appear strong on the surface, but beneath, it is already dead, awaiting the next storm to tear it down. When someone insults you or treats you as though you're inferior, they are not just belittling you. They are belittling everything that you bring to the relationship. Imagine, if you will, planting a seed, nurturing it, and hoping it will grow, only for it to refuse to sprout. Now, you must ask yourself, is the seed the problem, or is it the soil you've chosen? Stoicism teaches us to protect our dignity at all costs. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Do not let others extinguish the light of your soul." Yet many of us allow repeated insults to create scars on our souls, as if we were trying to earn the love of others at the cost of our own self-respect. But let me ask you, what is left of you if you sacrifice your dignity? What remains when you allow insults to become normal? Repeated disrespect isn't just a fleeting offense. It's like acid rain that erodes your soul day after day, slowly chipping away at everything beautiful within you. You must realize that staying silent in the face of disrespect is not a sign of strength, but a sign that you've stopped respecting yourself. It's a painful realization, but sometimes the most noble decision you can make is to walk away, not out of anger or a desire for revenge, but because you understand that your dignity is the foundation of your inner peace. I'm not suggesting you cut ties hastily, but when you see that respect is gone and appreciation has evaporated, ask yourself, does this relationship deserve your time? Does it deserve your soul? Always remember, the person who disrespects you today will not value you tomorrow. And someone who cannot see your worth will never see it, no matter how much you try. Emotional manipulation, my dear friend, is another perilous trap in relationships. It is one of the most insidious things you can face because it's often hidden. You may find yourself feeling like you are always at fault, that you're never doing enough, when the truth is very different. Emotional manipulation is like a shadow that quietly creeps up behind you. You don't see it, but it quietly takes control. The person who manipulates you knows your weaknesses, and they use your emotions against you. They may guilt trip you into believing you're responsible for their happiness, or remind you of past mistakes to justify their current behavior. This kind of manipulation wears away your soul slowly, draining your spirit. Stoicism teaches us to understand what is within our control and what is not. You cannot control others' actions, but you can control your reactions. So, why do you allow yourself to be a pawn in someone else's game, especially when they use you to meet their own needs? As Epictetus said, true freedom lies in not allowing anyone to control your soul. Imagine yourself in a stormy sea, and while someone promises to save you, instead, they pull you down every time you try to swim. They make you believe they're your only lifeline, but in reality, They are the reason you keep sinking. What makes emotional manipulation so dangerous is that it masquerades as care, as love. But in reality, it's a chain that distances you from your true self, your values, and your essence. Someone who truly loves you will never use your emotions to justify their behavior or turn you into a submissive figure. A real relationship, my friend, is one built on equality, respect, and freedom. If you constantly feel guilty, at fault, or responsible for someone else's happiness, it's time to stop and ask yourself, is this really what I deserve? Confronting emotional manipulation is never easy. You may feel fear, guilt, or even nostalgia for the person who manipulates you. But true strength, my dear friend, is not found in staying in a relationship that drains you. Real strength is found in the courage to walk away and to embrace a life that nourishes your soul. Betrayal and dishonesty are wounds that are not easily healed because they go beyond simply breaking trust. They destroy the very foundation of the relationship. Trust is not just a word we say. It is an unspoken agreement, a deep sense of comfort and safety. When you are betrayed, it's not just your trust in the other person that's broken, but you may also begin to lose trust in yourself, your judgment, your ability to understand others. Imagine you are building a house, one stone at a time, strengthening it with each passing day. Then, someone you trust comes along and destroys part of that house in an instant, without regard for the effort you've put into it. That is betrayal. The Stoics regarded honesty as one of the highest virtues. Seneca said, "The trust that is granted is a responsibility that must be respected." Betraying that trust is not only a betrayal of another, but of oneself. Imagine living in a world where no one could trust anyone else. What would relationships look like? They would be a constant struggle, everyone fearing that they might be the next victim. Betrayal, my friend, is not just a breaking of trust. It is a test of character. When you are betrayed, you may feel anger, hatred, or even a desire for revenge. But this is where wisdom comes in. Stoicism teaches us not to let the actions of others dictate how we live. Marcus Aurelius said, "Do not let the evil others do enter your heart." The real question is not, why did this person betray me, but how can I remain true to myself after what has happened? Remember, betrayal may weaken you for a moment, but it cannot defeat you if you choose to stay strong. The person who betrays you reveals their own weakness, their fear, and their inability to face life with honesty. But you, my friend, your strength lies in your ability to walk away, to rebuild your life on new foundations, and to believe that you deserve a relationship built on truth, not deceit. Before we end, I want to thank you for your commitment to improving your life by staying with me until the end. I have a small challenge for you. Leave the word Stoic or Stoicism in the comments so I know you've made it this far. Finally, let's address violence, whether verbal or physical. Violence is not just a harmful act. It is a breaking of something deep inside a person. And I address this particularly to women, who are often more exposed to such actions. When you face someone who uses words as weapons or raises their hands to harm you, they are not only damaging your body or your feelings, they are attempting to extinguish your inner light. They want you to believe that you are of lesser value, that you do not deserve love or respect. But let me tell you something crucial. Violence is not strength. It is weakness. A person who resorts to violence, whether through harsh words or cruel actions, is someone who cannot control themselves. As the philosopher Epictetus said, anger is an internal admission of helplessness. The person who insults or abuses you is showing you clearly that they have lost control over their own emotions. Instead of facing their weaknesses, they are projecting them onto you. Violence distorts your self-image, making you feel as though you are unworthy, undeserving of kindness or respect. But remember this, no one and nothing can ever diminish your worth unless you allow it. You're always deserving of love, respect, and kindness. Stand firm in your dignity, my friend, and never allow anyone convince you otherwise. No one deserves to live in a relationship that is marked by violence, no matter the form that violence takes. Stoicism teaches us to face life with steadiness, to protect our inner peace regardless of the external circumstances we may face. However, my friend, it's important to understand that protecting your peace does not mean remaining silent in the face of injustice. Silence when confronted with violence is not a sign of bravery. It is surrender your soul to someone who does not deserve it. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, do what you must, but do not bow to those who try to impose their power through force. A person who resorts to violence in a relationship is not demonstrating strength, but weakness. They are attempting to pull you into their weakness, trying to drag you into a dark place where fear and helplessness control your mind. Understand, my friend, that leaving a relationship that contains violence is not an act of fleeing. It is, in fact, the highest form of strength. Saying no to what humiliates or harms you is the greatest victory you can achieve. Rejecting violence is an affirmation of both yourself and the world that you deserve better, that you are worthy of love, respect, and peace. Overdependence may initially seem like closeness or love, but in truth, it is a hidden prison. Imagine being in any kind of relationship where you feel solely responsible for carrying the weight of everything, emotionally, physically, or mentally. You are the one who must provide support, protection, and solutions to every problem, while the other person leans on you without taking any responsibility. This is not love. It is not closeness. It is a form of attachment that burdens your soul and drains your energy. A healthy relationship, as Stoicism teaches us, is one built on balance and equality. When you find yourself either depending too heavily on someone or being dependent upon excessively, the relationship begins to lose its true meaning. It turns into a burden rather than a source of strength. Stoicism encourages us to rely on ourselves and to cultivate our strength from within. As Epictetus said, do not let your happiness depend on something external, because the moment that thing is out of your control, you lose yourself. When someone places all their happiness and security in you, they are not offering you love. They are placing upon you an insurmountable burden, one that is impossible to carry indefinitely. Picture yourself as a tree in a forest. At first, someone may climb your branches, pulling and bending them to keep standing. You may endure this, thinking it is your duty to bear this weight. But over time, this tree begins to bend, to lose its strength, because the person who depends on you leaves no room for you to grow, no chance to breathe. The crucial question arises here. Is it fair that you are the sole bearer of all this weight? Is it just that you are left with no support while you give everything? A true relationship, my friend, is a partnership built on mutual giving. If you find yourself in a relationship where you are not giving as much as you are taking, or where you're taking far more than you are giving, this is a warning sign. Overdependence slowly corrodes the soul, forcing you to abandon your own needs, desires, and well-being for the sake of another. As Marcus Aurelius said, be like the rock that stands firm against the winds, unwavering and unyielding. You are not obligated to carry the entire burden of others. Your true strength lies not in enduring endless pressure, but in having the courage to say, I cannot bear this any longer, and to prioritize your own peace, happiness, and growth. I will help you, but I will not lose myself in the process. For your sake, don't misunderstand me. Support is a beautiful thing, and standing by the people you love is noble. But when that support turns into complete dependence, when the relationship leaves you with no room for rest or growth, it's time to rethink things. A lack of appreciation is one of the most painful experiences in relationships. It's not just a word spoken carelessly or an act of indifference. It's a fundamental breach of something essential in any relationship: the acknowledgement of the other person's value and contributions to life. You might find yourself in a relationship with someone who seems oblivious to your efforts. They may not appreciate even your simplest attempts to show love or support. And as this continues, you begin to doubt yourself, questioning your own worth. You may wonder whether what you do even matters. Appreciation goes beyond material recognition or verbal praise. It's a deep, internal acknowledgement. When someone makes an effort to be a part of your life, you want to feel that their efforts are meaningful and that you are valued. If that doesn't happen, it can feel as though you are gradually disappearing. A person needs appreciation as much as they need air. We all need to feel that our presence holds meaning and that we add value to someone else's life. As Seneca wisely said, life is not just in the number of days we live, but in how we give it meaning. When you give and give, yet receive no appreciation in return, you start to question if what you do even matters. Appreciation is not just about external recognition. It reflects the respect you hold for yourself and the way you interact with others. If you find yourself in a relationship where your efforts go unnoticed and your feelings are disregarded, it's not just neglect. It's draining your energy and life force. The painful part is that the lack of appreciation often comes from those closest to you. It might be from your friends or, most painfully, from family members. There is nothing more hurtful than doing everything you can for someone who doesn't acknowledge or appreciate you. However, Stoicism offers an important lesson. We do not live for external appreciation. As Marcus Aurelius said, do not seek appreciation from others, but find it within yourself. True appreciation begins with our own understanding of our worth, without needing validation from others. The moment you recognize that you deserve appreciation, that your presence has value, you will start making choices that serve your inner peace. If you're in a relationship where you aren't being valued, remember, this is a signal that you deserve something better, a relationship where you are celebrated, where your contributions matter, and where your presence is cherished. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that you should seek appreciation everywhere, but when you find yourself in a place where no one sees your worth, it's time to make a change. You need to place yourself in an environment where your value is recognized, a relationship where you can grow, where you feel important, and where your presence is acknowledged. Continuous conflicts are one of the most exhausting and energy-draining experiences in relationships. At first, you might find yourself trying to resolve these conflicts, maybe out of desire to save the relationship, or because you think these arguments are just passing tests. But as time goes on, you begin to feel stuck, as if you're caught in a never-ending cycle where every attempt at peace turns into yet another battle. Every conversation starts to feel like the beginning of a new unresolved conflict. Every word seems to spark another argument, and every opportunity for resolution ends up as nothing more than an empty promise. Continuous conflict doesn't leave any room for inner peace. It creeps into your life, draining your emotional and physical energy. You begin to feel like you're always on defensive, as if you're in an endless war. This is not a healthy relationship. Any relationship, whatever its nature, should be a space for understanding, peace, and harmony, not a battlefield. Stoicism teaches us that inner peace is essential. As Epictetus said, you cannot control events, but you can control your reactions to them. This wisdom should guide you when dealing with constant conflict. You can't control people or their actions, but you can control how you respond to them. If you find that a conflict is draining you without offering any opportunity for growth or resolution, you have the right to set boundaries and walk away. Continuous conflicts are not just mental. They affect your heart and soul as well. Unending conflict plants seeds of doubt in your decisions and in your ability to relate to others. These doubts create cracks in your spirit. You can't build a healthy relationship or even nurture yourself if you're surrounded by constant strife. Know that continuous conflict is not a normal part of life. It's a sign of an unbalanced relationship. If you find yourself in one, you need to leave it because, in the end, it won't make you better. It will take everything from you. Lack of support is another incredibly frustrating experience in relationships. Support is not just about material help. It's about emotional, moral, and psychological backing. When you find yourself facing difficult situations, you need more than quick fixes. You need someone who is there for you, who extends a hand not to control you, but to be present with you in the moment. But when you don't find that person, when you're alone in your struggles, it can feel like you're fighting an unequal battle. Support doesn't mean others solving all your problems. It means having someone who believes in you, understands your pain, and values your experience. This person doesn't just offer empty solutions or make hollow promises. They support you with their actions, words, and presence. Yet, when support is absent, when you're always facing challenges alone, self-doubt begins to take root. You may start questioning whether the other person truly cares about you. Are they willing to stand by you during tough times? Doubts like these can drain your spirit, making you feel isolated. Stoicism teaches us that we shouldn't rely on others for peace. As Seneca said, do not rely on anyone to give you peace, but seek it within yourself. However, as human beings, we cannot escape the need for connection and support. We need to be part of a network of people who value our presence and offer us support. At the same time, we must recognize that this support can't come from people who are unwilling or unable to stand by us. When support is lacking, you might feel as though you're struggling alone. But that's not a failure. It's a sign that the relationship isn't giving you what you need. Support should be mutual. If you find yourself in a relationship where you're constantly giving and never receiving, it's time to pay attention. Support makes life more bearable. It's the energy you get when you're on the verge of giving up, the strength extended to you when you're weak. These are the relationships that truly sustain us. But if you find yourself in a relationship where support is absent, it's no longer balanced. You must have the courage to ask yourself, does this relationship support me? Does it contribute to my growth? If the answer is no, then it's time to make changes. When will you start taking care of yourself? When will you seek out relationships that bring you real support? Relationships that make your life brighter, help you move forward, and enable you to grow.